Hey there, students. Thanks for getting your first part done. Your first two paragraphs on your introduction and your counter argument. You just want to make sure that you have at least 4 to 5 sentences in each one that you've been able to acknowledge the three things that you're going to talk about, your belief, and obviously your hook. And then the second paragraph, it's your counter argument to acknowledge the opposing viewpoint and to have a great response for that. And today we're going to continue on. We're going to have our next two paragraphs, our third and fourth paragraph, and these are going to be due by Thursday night at 11:59. And these are your two main body paragraphs. So everything we find here is my examples is obviously in here. As I'm getting prepared for that, I want you to remind yourself that I want you to share your document with me. If you ever want me to look at something or whatnot, you can obviously just send me that link and send me a message I can click on and respond back to you real quick. It's quicker to do that than to make me go search for it because I got a ton of stuff shared with me and it just takes forever. So that's that. You need to turn this in one by one. So obviously to do this next part, my expectation is that you've submitted your first part. You need to make sure that you've submitted your works cited page, your persuasive outline, and then your first two paragraphs. And so in our persuasive essay here, all of our materials are down here. And, obviously I have my examples, the one about school uniforms. I also have the one about Subway for lunch. And these are just ideas I would prefer if you didn't write a paper just like mine. If you look at my examples there, like in the outline, we put like our two emotional responses, and then we put our quotation that goes with it. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But obviously, you don't always have to go in that order. You can start with the logical part and then have your two emotional examples. You can put an emotional example and then your logical and then another emotional. It's just important that you kind of change it up as you go along. You don't want to make it so it sounds like like just the same meter. So change it up a little bit, and that's really helpful. So the example PDF is one, and then the other one is the one called Quality Time. Mr. Carlson's persuasive edge. So I'll click on this one first, and I'll just kind of read you what I wrote. And then it's not perfect; it's just a draft. But we have our two first paragraphs here, and the next one. Subway is the best and healthiest alternative for school lunch. It is also one of the healthiest fast foods. In addition, Subway has lower or the same amount of calories as school lunches, according to Lauren Williams. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the author. I should have put a comma here. I did not. I start my quote. My quote goes to the end, and then I have a comma, end quote, space, parenthesis 1. All right, there's one example. Obviously, I didn't capitalize Subway there. There's work to do on there. And then another example here on this second one I did not put the author's name. And so since I didn't put the author's name in the quotation, I put it down here. So, this is pretty weak writing. I would say this is probably like a C writing. There's not a lot of emotional appeal to it. If you look at my other example here, if I can get to it, maybe. Yeah, my first draft. This is one I wrote about my wife and I going on a date. So in this one, I think I did a lot better job of being connected to it. Going on a date will strengthen our relationship. That was my main point. You can find that up here in my first reason. And the way you list your reasons is the way that you're going to do that. And that's ultimately what we want in our life. I know that when I spend quality time with you, I feel like we have a stronger relationship. An example of this is when we went on a date to go see Sister Act at the Chance Dinner Theater. It was an amazing time just to spend with you, and I learned a lot about how you were feeling and doing. It was helpful. No one was seeking our attention and screaming at us. Haha, that was funny, right? Another example is when we went on a walk around Lake Erie last fall. It was just two of us, and so you can see I have my two emotional, they're specific. This is what I really want. I want you to be specific. I think mine is pretty in depth. I would not be that in depth, but if you are, no big deal. And then, of course, at the end, I have this in addition, find and nurture. I should put a capital F there. This looks good at the end. You may say, Mr. Carlson, why don't you have an author here? The reason why I don't have an author is because my works cited page isn't on here, but there's no author for my works cited page. And in that situation, we just leave it blank. And then, so here's my second one. You can go ahead and go through, my quote starts. You always start your capital quote there. And you can read these and kind of figure it out. This does not need to be perfect today. This is just a rough draft. A lot of times I'm focusing a lot on the quotations. You just want to get your work out there. We'll fix that stuff later on. We'll have a couple of days to review our stuff, but the goal is to get down, a good topic sentence, two good emotional details, a logical, and then obviously a concluding sentence that kind of sums up what you're talking about. All right, so that pretty much sums that up. Don't worry so much about your quotes. We'll worry completely about those as we get done. But make sure you have them in there. Try to make them as good as you can, and then I'll make a lesson about how to exactly quote your stuff for the end. And so just keep working hard. Your goal is to have done your third and fourth paragraph by Thursday night, and please don't turn in your third and fourth paragraph of your paper if I never grade your first and second. You have to turn them in for each one. You can't just turn in the entire thing at the end and say, "Here it is, Mr. Carlson." The only way I'll be able to grade them is if you submit them for each assignment. So I hope you're having a great day. Reach out to me if you have any questions. I've done a lot of video conferencing with you, and it's been really successful. So my job is to help you be successful here. If you're struggling, you can sit there and fret about it, or you can just reach out to me and say, "Mr. Carlson, can we set up a time to do a video conference?" I would love to do that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a great way for me to help you out. It actually makes me feel really good because I get to talk to you and hear your voice and see your face, and it's really like the highlight of my day. So obviously your flip videos are pretty awesome, but just helping you through and making you understand what you need to do is one of the most rewarding things. It is the most rewarding thing as a teacher, and I want you to know that, and that there's no embarrassment in it. It's a personal conversation with me. I don't share what you tell me with other people. It's just something to help you out. So that's that. Hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Just looking for that stop button.